This is KHTS News Director Jade Abishan, and I'm here today with Santa Clarita Congressman Mike Garcia. How are you doing today, Mike?
Hey, good, Jade. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, having a good day so far. So a
Great.
lot of
Good, good.
things have changed in the past couple of weeks. I mean, just Los Angeles County alone, we've entered the yellow tier of reopening. The Pfizer vaccine has been approved for children ages 12 and up, and you have been very busy both at Washington and at
Absolutely.
home. So recently, you joined Fox News for a special on the impact of illegal marijuana grows in the Antelope Valley, which is just north of Santa Clarita, Acton, and Agua Dulce. That's all just up the 14 freeway from us here in the Santa Clarita Valley. Why did this issue stand out to you?
Yeah, good topic to start with here. So this is an issue that had actually been raised to us over the last few months about these smaller mom and pop organizations that are setting up illegal marijuana grows, and these aren't the legal state sanctioned operations. These aren't even small illegal operations in folks' backyards. These are massive nurseries that are being put up in the middle of the Antelope Valley Desert, Acton and Agua Dulce, and on a scale that you wouldn't believe. And I first went flying with the sheriff's department up there about a month ago, and we saw these out in the middle of the desert. There's about 300 or 400 of these nurseries out there, and when we went flying last week with Fox News, that number is now closer to about 1,000. And what's happening is these nurseries are being stood up on land that is being rented usually. These grows are being staffed by illegal immigrants who are effectively working as indentured servants. About 90 to 95% of the folks working these fields are here illegally and not on the records, not on anyone's radar. And then they're stealing our water straight out of the aqueducts up there in the AV, and effectively, operating in a clandestine fashion. And it's gotten to the point now where some of these transcontinental criminal organizations are now actually threatening the local constituents and residents out there in the Llano area, High Vista, Palmdale outskirts, Lancaster outskirts, and it's become a real neighborhood security and national security risk. And there's effectively about 10 to 15 billion dollars being harvested out of our high desert in the form of illegal marijuana, and almost none of that money is actually staying in the United States. This is an industry that's completely unregulated, it's completely untaxed, and it's actually putting the legal industry under the thumb, because now it's impossible to compete with these illegal grows when they effectively have no cost, right? They're coming to market for a lot cheaper than what the legal businesses can do. So we invited the sheriffs out, the LA County Sheriff Villanueva out to see it. He took a tour. He's realizing just how out of control this has gotten. It's starting to get their attention. And at a federal level, we're trying to get more money for overtime so that the local sheriffs out in the Antelope Valley can start squashing this and hopefully eradicating this problem here soon.
Wow, that's really interesting. So you're talking about like risk of security of people, so they're threatening residents potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. It starts off as a friendly conversation. People come up and they want to buy your house for maybe $200,000 more, or your land for $200,000 more than what it's worth. And if you say no, or if you report activity in the area, they are starting to threaten folks. And we're seeing armed cartel members out in the high desert, starting to behave very brazenly, and there's been very little enforcement, so they're getting away with it. And the more the industry takes off, the more money is at risk, the more aggressive they're going to get, and we're starting to see that manifest right now.
Wow. Well, thank you for that explanation, Mike. If you're just joining us,
Yeah.
we're here with Congressman Mike Garcia, who's telling us about what he's been up to advocating for his constituents over the past couple of weeks. He just finished telling us about illegal marijuana grows in the AV, Antelope Valley, Acton, and Agua Dulce areas. Now, Mike, let's keep it on like California news here. Recently, California Governor Gavin Newsom announced that about 11 million low and middle income Californians would potentially receive another set of $600 payments under the Golden State stimulus plan. What are your thoughts on this stimulus plan?
Well, so, first of all, I'd like our governor to open things up. I'm glad that we're in the yellow tier now, but the reality is that we should have been opening businesses up a long time ago. We should have been opening up our schools and getting our kids back in session, physically back in the classrooms several months ago. So that needs to happen right away. That's how this economy will recover. That's how people will get back to work, and hopefully people won't need stimulus checks as a result of that. What this governor is effectively doing at this point, on the verge of being recalled, is he's trying to use these $600 checks to garner support and, frankly, try to avoid being recalled here in November. When you do the math, and he's touted a surplus, I think, of about $70 billion at the state level now, a surplus. First of all, most of that surplus is coming from the federal government because of the COVID relief. And when you do the math on the 11 million people who are getting about $600 in checks, the stimulus checks each, that comes out to about $6.6 billion. As generous as it sounds that he's giving these checks out, the reality is that they should be dispersing a lot more, and they should be giving us tax rebates at this point, lowering our taxes and opening up our business so that we can actually get our economy going organically again and not being dependent or reliant on the federal government, or in this case, the state government. So again, it's an indication of Sacramento politicians wanting to effectively buy votes. They're using the federal government COVID relief now to make amends for a lack of leadership at the state levels with regards to their budget and the execution. And we're way overtaxed. We deserve better products, and we deserve better structures, better roads, better services with our tax dollars. We deserve better schools, and we're just not getting that out of Sacramento. And while I'm not opposed to these stimulus checks, we deserve a hell of a lot more than just a $600 stimulus check, and that's a short-term high. What we actually deserve are politicians in Sacramento who can balance our budget and then give us the services that we deserve, but also give us tax breaks that we desperately need.
That was a very extensive answer. Thank you. All right.
My pleasure.
Another piece of news coming from our own Santa Clarita Valley. Olivia Moon, a junior at William S. Hart High School in Newhall, has been selected as the winner of the 2021 Congressional Art Competition for California's 25th District, which you represent. Ta-da!
Absolutely. Yeah, so this is a fun competition. They do this every year. I don't think many people are aware of the program. It's an art competition that's held every year. Every member of Congress has this competition in their district. And what happens is the winner ends up getting flown back. They get a tour of the Capitol, and then for a year we actually display their piece of art in the halls of Congress. And so every time we go to vote, you walk by all these pieces of art, and California 25 will be represented by Olivia Moon and her piece called Muted Broken System. It's a beautiful piece, very powerful piece, and I got to talk to her and congratulate her over the phone. And so we're going to fly her out here, I think next month, give her certificate, and she'll meet everyone else who won their competitions across the nation, and her piece will be proudly displayed in the halls of Congress for the next year. So very fun, very cool thing. When you combine that with the 12 to 14 students that we were successfully able to get into the various military academies, it's an exciting time of year for us. And these are the things that make this job very rewarding and fun at the same time, while everything else is going on in parallel. So super proud of Olivia, and a job well done on her piece of work.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Mike, so much for that insight. We're coming to the end of our time here with you. So tell me, what should our Santa Clarita Valley be expecting to see from your office in the next couple of weeks?
Well, as always, our number one priority is taking care of our constituents and any needs that they have with the federal government. If it's help with the IRS, the Veterans Affairs Office, any COVID relief, small businesses that need PPP assistance still, or individuals that are looking for their checks or help navigating any of those things, we are at your disposal. Please call our offices. We've got the best team in the nation working those problems for our constituents, and literally any help with a federal agency, that is our mission. And at a national level, as always, I'm going to keep fighting to keep our taxes low, to ensure that we have a strong national security posture, hopefully pushing to secure our southern border. And I'll be going to the border at the end of the month. May 25th, I'll be at the border to see it firsthand, and I'll look forward to giving you a report and a debrief on that trip, Jake.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Morning in Santa Clarita, afternoon where you're at, Mike. For all of our listeners out there, you'll be able to read more about Congressman Garcia and what he's been up to in Washington over on our website at hometownstation.com or on social media at KHTS Radio. All
Thanks,
right.
Kate.
Thank you.